Yeah. So put things in the past. You know, people always like saying, yeah, man, like, you have to get over slavery, put it in the past. You know, that's in the past. Blah blah blah. All right. So example, someone you're in town doing some shopping. Someone comes up, punches your mother in the face, like slaps up your sister, and seriously assaults your dad, and then walks off. And you're like, yo, what you doing? Like, no, don't worry, bro. It's in the past. Just leave it in the past. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But obviously, in modern days, moving on from like when people were saying that in the 80s and 90s and stuff, obviously there's evidential facts to kind of show the process and actually show what's happened, because for some weird reason everyone just like moved forward like, rah, there wasn't 425 years of kind of dedicated oppression against a specific race. Do you know what I mean? Which is totally fact. So obviously you can't move on and put it in the past. Do you see what I'm saying? So once you get to that point and say, all right, well, nah, this is this is something that has to be dealt with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are examples of historical crimes going on all the time. Women are getting cases from back in the past, men are getting cases from back in the past. See what I mean? So I don't understand how 425 years of documented crime can just be swept under the rug. So, from an emotional point of view, coming from that specific race that event was carried out upon, and then obviously after the effect, still having the same treatment and the same mindset towards those people. And don't get it twisted, like, that's calling names, man. Everyone hates Africa, cuz. Like, everyone hates Africa, even Africa. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Africans were trading um, human resources to the world, and that's from a long time. But the difference between the slavery that was going on in Africa, like, a man or a woman could become a king or a queen. You see what I mean? So you could honestly just work your way up to the top, and plus, once you finish work, you got to go on and chill with your people and stuff, as opposed to 425 years of, all right, check the criminals, the crime statistics in the UK. Yeah, not even England, the UK. I don't know, I think there's like 60, 70 million or something like that. So figure out how much crime goes on in 1 year. Yeah, in 1 year. And that's like in the civilized place, you know what I mean? Like, we're civilized, these Africans are animals. As I said before, if you see on my last video, like I told you lot, that like, we African people, Negro people, whatever you want to say, weren't considered as human beings by the Western world, specifically England and USA, UK and USA, until 2001. So before that, just because they didn't want to admit that slavery was a crime against humanity, they said, well, listen, we weren't humans. Do you know what I mean? So moving on from I lost my train of thought. But all I'm saying is, like, you have to check how much, if in 1 year, say there's like 5,000 crimes, yeah, committed. Do you see what I mean? In a civilized place where there's, we're in 2025, so like, we're as a human race, we're more advanced than ever before, yet there's still big crime going on in one of the most civilized places in the entire world. So take that back to slavery times now, yeah. So you're now dealing with people that have been taken away from their homeland, so they don't have any governmental security. You're now relying on your new employer, or your new caretaker, to look after you. And obviously, you know how that went. See what I mean? For insurance reasons, because of insurance, slaves were thrown off of ships into the sea because they didn't want to pay insurance for not having the slaves registered and stuff like that. So there was big stuff going on. So take the statistics, do a Google search of how much crime goes in 1 year in the UK, yeah, and then times that by 425 years to people who couldn't call the police, who couldn't get any counselling, who couldn't, literally, do you know what I mean? The only thing that was given was a fake god. Do you know what I mean? A god that was stolen from Africa, rebranded, had a different name put on it. Do you see what I mean? So that's literally all we had. Well, obviously apart from just our genetic whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying to you. It's like it's not in the past. Do you see what I mean? Like, my first album title, little plug to myself, all these youngers and stuff, spitting your bars, blah blah blah. Blood, check out my album from '99. And at present, between past and future, that's like 10 years worth of experience. So all you man just like sitting in the studio chilling with 30 man and 2 girl, do you know what I'm saying? Like no real concept of what's going on in the real world. You see what I mean? Not you're not on the road still. You man are just doing your own thing. So that album I wrote in 1999, cuz. Do you see what I mean? So it was called At Present, Between Past and Future, because you're always between past and future. Like, you're always in the present. It's never the past, it's never the future, you're always in between. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion. So yeah, so it's not in the past. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's very much in the present, and it's in the future. Do you see what I mean? Like, the institutional racism is improving. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to do this and that. But like I was saying, everyone hates Africa. Do you see what I mean? Even Africans. Do you see what I'm saying? So not only do you have historical crimes 425 years, which totally just mashed up the entire infrastructure of the race. Africa's now still trying to, how do you get robbed? Yeah. How do you get robbed and you have to pay back the person who robbed you? Them ones, like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But it makes sense if you realize, cuz the secret war never stopped. The war against Africa and keeping down African people because they know the potential of Africa has never stopped. It's very much in the present. Do you see what I mean? So once you understand that, and that's something I understood from the 90s, cuz. Do you see what I mean? Man understood that man was a slave and didn't have any control. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of how protected the people around me made me feel. Do you see what I mean? Like, I was realizing more and more I have no control. Like, I'm a slave. Do you see what I mean? I saw all the mans that were supposed to be bad. They didn't say nothing to the slave master, cuz. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were bad for the other slaves, do you know what I mean, in the camp, you know what I mean? Like, badding up the slaves, but they can't say nothing to the slave master, cuz. Yeah, they can't say nothing to them. So that's why I've never been involved, bruv. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, do you see what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like the UK and the USA and the other countries that did what they did to Africa, cuz. Do you see what I mean? If I was running this, yeah, I'm always challenging all these, right, free Syria, blah, yeah, whatever, cuz. Yeah, if you want to free someone, where's your plan, bruv? Here's my plan. Yeah, free food and free energy on a basic level for everyone in the country, and all countries in the world should be run that. So every single person gets a budget, weekly, monthly, yearly, of what you need to survive as far as food, water, energy, including shelter. Do you know what I'm saying? So everyone in the entire country should have housing, and then basically anything that's extra, hotels or whatever, that's what you trade off. But everyone from a base should have the basic stuff moving forward. Plus, I'd introduce like one-time free travel to any country in the world, so it gives you a chance to explore the planet and see and find out where you really want to be. Do you see what I mean? So I've never been trying to be on what most of the culture's promoting as far as the music. Do you know what I mean? Like, no offense to all these grime artists, these reggae artists. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I've never been about that, bruv. Do you see what I mean? I've never had I've never felt to go and rob off of someone. I've never had the intention to go and like talk about someone or bad up someone, or it's just boring to me. I'd rather go and kick some football, them ones, like play some Street Fighter, play some Tekken, you know what I mean? Like, smoke a ziggy with my brethren, some music, do you know what I mean? And obviously look for love, cuz, try and find a good woman out there, do you know what I'm saying, that I can trust to actually like have children for me, and I know that my children will be raised correctly, as opposed to all of these demons, cuz, that have just sold their soul, sell their children, sell their family. They'll sell anything to get a little bit of this promissory note and stuff like that. So yeah, so it's never been in the past, cuz. So like anyone that says, if you're trying to have the conversation about slavery or historical events, you know what I'm saying, to actually question, well, listen, how civilized were you? Do you know what I mean? Like how great is Britain? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, how amazing is the American dream, etc., etc. And it's all bullshit, bruv. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and that's including people within our race, cuz like all these, I've said it for time, all these NBA players from the 80s, yeah, they could have built our own sovereign place in America, yeah. They could have just, with the money that just the NBA, just the basketball players, because I'm not talking the football players, I'm not talking the R&B musicians, the soul musicians, I'm talking like just the NBA players, like from back in the 80s, they could have fixed all of the problems. So you have to understand, pretty much everyone has sold out, cuz. Do you see what I mean? They like the same thing as they did in Africa, but on a different level. They sold out, bruv. So yeah, so it's not in the past, cuz it's at present, between past and future, bro. So you know, I'm just trying to like share my knowledge, and anyone that's like trying to, you know, work things out, just understand, bruv. Like yeah, it's a secret war that's still going on, bro. And the only way to solve it is to go back to Africa, put down the money from the diaspora, and say, listen, we want to buy our own sovereign land, we want to do our own thing, we want to create our own laws, and we want to have a society that actually works just like it did originally in Africa. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it ain't in no past, cuz. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't pass off 425 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if there's a random fight off outside of a club and there's bare man in the road and a couple of local mans pull up skirt, you know what I mean, and you get punched in your face because man thinks you're from out of town, and then you have to say, what you doing, bruv? I'm local. Like, man's fighting against these man, they're from out of town. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a mistake. Do you see what I mean? That could be rectified. 425 years plus of intentionally doing something, it's not a mistake. So understand, once you understand that it's intentional, you actually know the reality of where you're living in, you can take steps to remove yourself from it, cuz. Do you know what I mean? So I'd advise to everyone, cuz, like, get away from the people that are basically gonna hurt you and your family, bro. Do you know what I mean? So if you say you're really about it, cuz you're really gonna defend it, let me see some of you mans and you women's actually making steps to actually get us to a safe environment where we can live and be happy. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, cuz, just stop pretending that you're yeah, bruv. Just yeah.